Welcome to this episode of the Astro Chat sort of series. In this video, we're going to be chatting to Alasdair MacLeod, who is a photographer in the west coast of Scotland. He captures like moonrises, Milky Way, all that sort of stuff in the west coast of Scotland, and you get some amazing shots of like silhouettes against the moon, awesome dark skies. I think he goes down to Galloway a lot and up to Assynt. So it'd be great to hear sort of his stories and experiences under the star and learn about his equipment, because I believe he's got some pretty good equipment. So yeah, let's just jump into the chat. Alistair, so you are in the West Coast, aren't you?
Yes, originally in Edinburgh, but it's only when I moved down to South Ayrshire that I kind of eventually started to dabble astrophotography. That was, I think, my first time was about 2016.
Oh, right, okay.
I went out to try it. It was actually the Perseid meteor shower. I thought I'm a press photographer, so I was on a back shift. So I went out with, let's see what this is all about, to try and catch some meteors. And actually, that was the first time I'd captured the Milky Way. Because what's this? And I'll just move my camera around all sorts, just trying.
Different things.
I thought, this looks pretty cool. Now, back then, I was shooting in JPEG as well the first time. And then the very first time I tried a moon shoot would have been the following year, in 2017. There's a fantastic photographer from New York, Jennifer Cordy. And because she's got these stunning backdrops in New York skyline, she can shoot these incredible images of the moon rising or setting over the various landmarks. I'm going to give that a go. So the following month, it was a harvest moon. I thought, get the kit. Just last minute, on that Saturday it happened. I think it was various landmarks, and then I thought, I can't see because the other buildings were in the way, so I was getting further and further back and whatnot. And then I managed to get a shot or a time lapse of the moon rising over the
set. You get some really good moon. How do you plan your moon shots? Because people going up with archery and stuff, it's phenomenal.
Well, it takes a bit of planning, as you can imagine. So back then I was just using Google Earth and trying to think, right, the moon is roughly going to rise, say, at 90 degrees. And if I want to point to the city centre, I need to be wherever 90 degrees off that. So that was very primitive, but now I use photo pills. Basically two apps a lot of guys use. Is it Photo? No, is it Emerus or Empress?
Yeah, so I use that one because there's
either or.
The photographer's ephemeris. I use the photographer's ephemeris on the phone. It's just like 3D Google Maps.
You either use that or generally you use photo pills.
I think that's the main ones.
And then, but the number of times I've tried it, not so much say cityscapes, because you're not anybody else involved. But if I do moon silhouettes, which I really enjoy doing, you maybe take somebody to a location, say, right, you stand here, I'm going to come back down. And then sometimes I'll maybe drive away for 5 minutes. I'm always thinking, they think this guy's a nutter. Now he's starting to drive away, you see the lights disappearing. So, and then there's maybe a 10-minute, 15-minute wait, because I always like just to give a wee bit of time. And it's always that panic thinking, have I set this up right? No, if I go out at the top of this hill here and I've got it wrong.
I can imagine you like communicating with phones go right.
Well, it's a walkie-talkie or a mobile, and generally I have a place that, for example, the first one I tried, I think it was a gymnast. So I needed somewhere that was going to be reasonably flat, so she could do her moves and not kind of fall over or injure herself. So that was a moon setting. So I was trying to work it out. It was slightly easier that one, I think, with the moon setting, because you could see where the moon is and get a rough idea as it's dropping down.
All right, okay, that's a good idea,
And for that, I had her mum and dad were there with a torch, so I could say, shine the torch at me now, and I could say, right, that's where you are. I need to move over to the left or over to the right. It was a muddy field, so when it worked out, I was jumping about in kind of wellies, all splattered in mud because I was chuffed the bits that worked out. And that was to do with it was coming up for the anniversary, the 50th anniversary of the lunar landing. So I wanted to do something different. So that was quite nice. And then it was shown in quite a few papers that, well, the record, the Ayrshire Post used it, then the London Times, and over in New York as well. So it was quite nice to get for the wee girl.
I always see your work. I mean, I've seen this, the one you did was a few weeks ago, people with the archery.
Oh, the archer, that was.
I see that like dotted about social media. I'm like, bloody hell. Because it's a lot of planning.
It's one you can plan, so just the further away you go, the smaller they become. So if you want a super moon, go well back, maybe about a mile or so. But if you want them like the Archer, pretty big in the frame, but still surrounded by the moon. So that was the moon rising. So they were up the top of the hill, and I was lower down. And I tend to do that rather than just be level with them, because you'll tell with the low cloud in Scotland, if they're slightly higher up, slightly better. Even if there is low cloud in the horizon, you've got a better chance just shooting a wee bit higher.
The amount of times it's like clear all around, but there's just a slither.
One band whenever you're putting the lens, it's really nice. Pretty much 360 everywhere. It's completely clear. Apart from that one,
and there's a wee bit.
Countless time. It's I plan ahead. Like I've got one in mind for this month. I had one in mind for last month, but it was cloudy, or just recently. But that was cloudy as well. So it's just, and a number of times I'll plan, right, I'll go there, and you go through Edinburgh from direction. So a bit of drive. You go through, and it's cloudy, and then everywhere else is clear, and you think, oh, why did I come?
It's the pain. So, people don't see the mistakes and the failures.
That's it. I mean, I would say hit rate for full moons anyway. I would say it's maybe 4 out of 12. 5 out of 13. So, but 5 out of 13 maybe in a year. It's not a great rate, but when it works, it's nice.
It's amazing. Yeah, I remember watching that video you put on YouTube about getting the moonrise over Edinburgh Castle. Just shows you how hard it is to.
It is, because that was a couple of times I've tried that over a couple of months. So
it's hard.
I was just determined. I thought this is not going to beat me.
But it's something we enjoy. I know it's.
It's and you know itself when it works. You can see it straight away visually through the lens and stuff. And
so what equipment do you use for all that sort
of
stuff?
I would call last year it was Nikon DSLR stuff, because that's what
Nikon,
I use at work. And then my work gave me Canon kit just about a year ago. So I've now got my work kit, and I've got my own kit for the Astro stuff. So Canon, for the moon stuff, I used to use it up to 500, sometimes with a 1.4 or a 2 times converter. But that just makes it a wee bit soft. So we'll shoot just a 5 and really cropping in for the silhouette stuff. But I've now got a Canon 800, so that helps just kind of make it a slightly bigger file. But it's more if you want a big print, it's better to have a big file.
Yeah, big file. Yeah, now you've got like good gear, obviously year, and obviously you're a photographer by trade as well. So you've got the stuff.
Getting your kit. I mean, the mirrorless cameras is kind of been something I've interested in, especially the R5 Canon route, because it's a big file. So for the likes of the moon stuff, when you're cropping it in, it's not so much for cityscapes. You can shoot full frame with it. In fact, if I was shooting a cityscape like the one Edinburgh Castle, I'd probably use a 5, because you want slightly more in and you can get away with a time lapse as it rises. The 800 is really tight. So you maybe, I'm trying to think, for a 500, you've got about 20 minutes from first starting to see the moon that goes right across the frame. Whereas the 800, you've barely got 10 minutes and it's out of frame. So
that's out of frame. It's just almost like a telescope.
You're knackered, it's above the frame before you can see it.
That's what I don't know if I've not been put off by like moonrise tight in, but I normally just like getting a wide field. And then the moonrise, it's more success rate.
Well, the first time I looked through it, thinking, even with a 500, I thought, that's still miles away. It's like really small frame. I've shot with the 8, and then I'm thinking if I get a 1.4, I could put that on just to bring it in a bit tighter. But then it's still a heavy crop. I mean, I'm not talking. I mean, from a full frame about 80 meg file, you're taking it down about less than 20 meg. So it's
a hell of a crop. Unless you transfer a telescope with you in the car.
That was an option. I was thinking about the telescope, but I've never used one, so I'm not sure what the photos like. But apparently they're great. So and same with the sun. I've not really tried any silhouettes against the sun yet, but that's kind of something I'm hoping to try.
Yeah, that'd be cool, like with sunspots and stuff.
That's it, and just using maybe a good ND filter on the front. I've got a homemade one just now that I tried. So it's experimenting, pre-focusing, then marking on the lens. So when you do that stuff, you know where to kind of focus.
That's pretty cool. Other than like moon and sun, you do Milky Way stuff as well. You were just up in Alasdair.
That's something that I love doing, whether it be stills or time lapse. I try and do both, but if you're going up a mountain, you're only doing one because It's just not a kit you've got to take.
Well, I remember during watching the video, like you're hiking up this huge like hill. I'm like, I don't know if I can do that.
You go all the way up the top and realise they've forgotten something. Oh no!
Oh, I prefer just parking beside a nice lay-by with a lock.
Well, yes, that's what I've seen your videos when you were down kind of in my patch, almost like the Galloway Forest, which is great because you can pretty much park up.
Galloway's nice, and it's good to see pictures from there.
Aye, so that's where it's nice and handy. No, for you don't have to lug kit far.
Yeah, I remember I used to go up hills and stuff, but you just get to the top of the hill and you're sweating and you're rushing for things, and it's just like, I'm not doing this in the middle of the night.
Cloud comes in and then mist stuff. Aye,
yeah,
so
it's a nightmare. Yeah. What sort of lenses do you use for Milky Way? No.
For the Milky Way, I used to use predominantly, it was a 14mm, which is what I shoot my time lapse with. So for the Milky Way stills, so what I tend to do is maybe put in a 14mm on one camera, on a 6D camera, and let them set the Milky Way up. If I can get there early enough, I shall try and get a sunset right through to sunrise with the Milky Way.
How do you do that? I've seen. What was the time lapse you did it at? Is it the Black Cottage in Glencoe?
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
And you did a motion, and it was like from sunset. How do you make your camera do that? I've never.
Well, it's on. So I've got a couple of tracks. So you can either just put it on top of your tripod and just have it stacked first of all. So that's your first setup. Then you can either build that setup by putting a pan head, so it can rotate, say, from left to right or right to left, whichever way. So if you want to try the Milky Way, you'd have it clockwise, so you can start off, say, across one way and just kind of pan round. Follow it. It's a wee bit. It's more difficult if you're doing, I would say, sunset right through, because you can't see where the Milky Way is at that point. So that's where you have to use your app and just hope you're kind of getting your point.
Is it like aperture priority or something you put your setting?
Well, probably on newer cameras like Sony and stuff, you can share aperture priority, no problem. So I shoot mine on manual mode, so I will set it up at the current exposure for that time when I start it. And then I've got a wee, it's basically an intervalometer I put on top of the camera. And you program that where you want your shortest exposure, your longest exposure, your lowest and highest ISOs, etc. And then that basically works out your exposure during the shoot.
Yeah, that's amazing, because I've always wanted to do that, but I've never known how to do it.
The motion device as well, you have to kind of program that, so that's going to move, and then a picture's going to get taken, and then it's going to move, and a picture. But the camera itself is only clicking. That's all it does. The other bits of kit, like the time lapse, the view, the bit of kit that I put on top of the camera, that works out your exposure, and then the motion device works out the interval, and then tells the camera, right, I need you to take a picture now for, it could be, say, 4,000th of a second, or it could be 10 seconds or 30 seconds or whatever you set it up to be. And that'll just kind of ramp your exposure. And then when you've got quite a few hundred files normally, then I put that in Lightroom time lapse, which you edit through Lightroom, and then that will kind of render the video. And it's a nice way. I just like, it's more complicated because your exposures can be really extreme.
It's just really complicated. I'm more at point and shoot, but after seeing that video in Ranachmore at Glencoe, I was like, wow, that's amazing. That's a really good time lapse.
Especially if you're doing a bit of motion, to have something in the foreground so you can see the camera passing by. But it just depends on location, and also if it's calm or if it's going to be windy.
That's true, clouds and stuff and all that sort of stuff.
It's tricky, but so I'll try and set that up, and then if I'm in, say, the Galloway Forest, I could set that one up, and then I can go and grab my other camera, put that on a tripod, just predominantly for stills. And for stills, I would use about a 20mm lens. So that's a 20. It's a Sigma Art one. So I think the 14mm is 1.8, the 20mm is 1.4, and then my next set of lenses just now, it's a 24-70 2.8. So I'm hoping to get I'm watching a few on eBay just now, 35mm, because I'm quite fancy.
It's good for you. You can put all this through as work expense. Great.
Well, no, I can't. This is kind of unfortunately, but the 35mm, I'm hoping it's either 35 or 28, and you might be a good guy to ask actually for panorama stuff. What would you shoot what would you prefer to shoot, like 28 or 35s, and then kind of?
Oh, millimeter. I normally shoot pretty much all my panos at 20mm.
Right, and just kind of add them.
I think it's just the way like if I go lower than 20mm, I've got the 14mm lens, and it is really wonky at the edge. Really,
that's what I found. Yeah, I've shot a couple of them. That's the work because it's just
it's very distorted. And then 24. I mean, 24 works, but I just feel 20mm. It just works just with my lens. But I think you could get away with any lens. But I know there's a photographer around here. He like will get a whole like sky picture, and he's just using 50mm lenses, and like slowly getting the whole sky. But like, Jesus, that's so much work. So yeah, I would just do kind of the 20mm one.
Put you back. I'm not sure if I'm signal in the house or not, so sorry about that.
No, that's all good. But yeah,
the panels is something I've tried, but
definitely the panel head. I don't know if we can see. That changes everything.
Yeah.
Just makes everything so much more simpler than a ball head.
I haven't tried that yet, actually, because I use something similar to that for my telephoto lenses, and that might be an option actually, because then you can keep it on one row if you
keep it level. All my time, all my panels, I just use that. It just makes it so simple. It just makes the software stitch it even easier. Sometimes with distortions and stuff. It's just all like experience. How many times you go out and try it and fail, and you're like,
like I said, behind me, like a star trail, I was just kind of self-taught that.
Yeah, you did a few star trails,
maybe about 6, maybe 8 times before I kind of mastered it. You come home, you think, explode, when you stack them on. And then go back. I used to try just at Tunbury Golf Course, because golf courses are great for being nice and dark. So I was still a light pollution from the hotel, but I was kind of experimenting there, going out the course. One night, I forgot my head torch. I thought, I kind of know the lay of the land, so kind of next minute, plank right in a bunker. So I was like covered in sand.
Oh God!
But it was just a case of experiment. And then I thought, right, I've kind of got the gist of this now. And I went down to Sycamore Gap at Hadrian's Wall just to try a nice statue, because we'd visited there in the summer. And just kind of thought, checking my kind of compass and my phone, thought, it's facing north. This might work as a nice kind of statue. It was really cold. It was -8 or so when I go back to the car. So back then it'd be like maybe 3 layers of long johns, kind of.
It's a bit cold sometimes. These things we do.
And I was real toasty. I had my wee kind of camping stove and kind of sat there. I think for this one behind, it was about 4 hours, the whole shoot. I thought I might as well sit there and try and get as much clear skies as I could. Data. Because the only reason I stopped was the clouds rolled in. I was planning on sitting there for 6 hours. So the head torches off, total darkness, nobody here. And then about an hour before I finished, I could see 2 head torches in the distance coming towards me. I thought,
oh God.
And then I didn't say anything until they were about 20 meters away, and I popped my head torch in the red light. The 2 of them jumped out their skin because they didn't know anybody was there.
Didn't know they were there. Oh God. It's amazing the things we get up to in the dark.
They were a couple of students, but it was too cold. Within about 20 minutes they were away, which was quite good for me. So I like star trails in the winter time. I think it's almost like clearer skies. There was less heat coming to the earth. I think star trails in the winter sky. It's a nice thing to do if you can find a nice kind of rustic.
The thing with I like doing star trails, but sometimes I just get annoyed at the amount of satellites and planes.
It's just more and more.
It's really annoying. It ruins most of the star trails nowadays.
You can be lucky or unlucky. It's almost because obviously you're generally pointing north. It's just so frustrating. Think this is quite nice, and then I use Star Stacks, a free software.
So
you start building up, you just see more and more kind of streaks.
Going across. I suppose to tell your location. I mean, you're not Tunbury, not near like Prestwick Airport, sort of thing.
It's not so bad there though. They tend to be more inland if they're landing at Prestwick. So for the Tunbury ones, it was just experimenting. I wasn't really bothered about the end results. More trying to get the exposure effect, and then I would do that elsewhere. So I'll do that, but I mean, don't get me wrong. Sometimes I've been out there and I've left the camera all night and returned in the morning, and that's like, worried until you see the camera again. But sometimes I've been at the camera and it's been completely frozen, completely white. Just a lens warmer, keep the lens clear.
It's quite hard sometimes, star trails. And if I do a star trail, it's because I'm sitting in the car and the camera's just right beside my car.
That was the very first star trail I tried. I went to the Galloway Forest, never been in my life. Drove down a track. I thought, right, I'll shoot between the trees, kind of pointing north. Set the camera up just beside the car, and I could hear these wee twigs snapping away. I thought, what's it? Jump back in the car, shut the door. But I just let the camera run for about an hour to an hour and a half, and by that point you could see a fair rotation. An hour and a half's plenty.
Yeah, that's quite scary. I mean, speaking of like experiences under the dark, you've probably experienced it. I'd say the nicest place, well, one of the nicest places in Scotland to photograph, definitely the scariest is like Rannoch Moor. See, when you've got all the stags going about, oh my God, you've got the boggy underfoot, and you fall down these wee bogs and get wet, and you get your head torch hits like stags and stuff, and they're like mooing away.
The Black Cottage time lapse I did just at the tail end of last year. I was actually heading out to Ardnamurchan for a job with the paper. I was supposed to arrive that kind of evening, but I thought, no, I'm going to kind of stop at Glencoe for a while because it was due to be clear. So I had an idea to go to Glencoe and then up by kind of Fort William and do some more stuff there. But the time I got to Fort William, it all clouded over. But while I was at Blackrock Cottage, you could hear the deer. I couldn't put the torch on, but I thought, they're not far away. And then in the time lapse, you could see them, and they were only about 20-30 metres away. I was worried they're going to bump the tripod and stuff when you're doing the shoot.
Yeah, and we're not even mentioning the minchies. We just won't get into that. I remember last year I was there in August, and oh my God, I'm going to avoid that area for height of summer because it's just
in the lock or something,
they're the only animal I'd love to be extinct is them. It's ridiculous. Is it bad? Is Ascent? 100%. Is Ascent sort of the same up there? Because
it's bad. I would avoid. I mean, that's why I was up there just a couple of weeks ago, but I won't be back until September. It's just.
Until September time.
Sky and Harris
again. Another thing, like say these remote areas, what I found. If you're doing long exposures, it's so annoying because it's like so remote and flat. You get one truck from an horizon, and you can see it for like 5 miles away, and you have to wait for it to travel 5 miles to pass you.
So you think, right, you'll pass by in about a minute, and you're waiting.
Yeah, the brightness of these truck headlights. I remember it was captioned the booklet of Moor from the opposite hill. And I could see it was like Loch Bat way. You could just see this huge beam of light, and it was shining all over the hills. And I was like, right, okay, I'll just have to wait. It was a good like 15-20 minutes until it went past.
If you're up, is it being a cruise? I think it's called.
That was being a crew released or something.
If you just up a wee bit of height, you can see it coming to the left or right, especially from the Rannoch Moor side. You just see it coming from.
That's exactly it. That's exactly where I've seen it. And it's just you just have to wait. Right, I have to wait until this truck goes 10 miles past you. So it's quite a challenging area to photograph.
You get a wee kind of catapult and take out the full beam lights and the trucks.
And there was one time just when I was at Rannoch Moor just there, I was at the wee Loch Ba viewpoint. I was just getting a picture of the Milky Way. And then it was like 3 a.m, just some, I don't know, tourists just parked right beside my car, just had its light on for like 15 minutes. I'm like, what's going on? It's just tourists there.
I had that bad at the Callanish Stones up in Lewis. We were up there. We built ourselves a camper van, so we're up over in Lewis in October time, the October break with the kids. And I thought, it's going to be clear. I've been to Lewis about 6 times. I've been to the Stones about 6 times, but it's always been cloudy or whatnot. And that night, checked my weather up. It's going to be clear. So headed down there. I couldn't believe how busy it was. It's just everyone's torches on. And I thought, can you put your torches off? But you can't because it's just everyone's here. So everyone's getting cameras. You just got to deal with it.
Yeah, it's a good thing you've got. Did you call it Bumblebee or is that the old one?
Aye, well, that was the first one. The kids gave
That
it
was
that because a yellow Transit and then blacked out windows.
yeah,
And then we've got a bigger van. We did that.
yeah, it's like the blue one now, isn't it?
The blue one, and then we've actually just sold that and got another one now. So it's I just
Yeah.
keeps me going.
I mean, that's the dream for everyone. Just getting a big camper van and go
I
up to
find
Astro.
it was kind of forward planning, like how much gear can I put in it? Cupboards here, right, I can put a camera in there, or I can take tripods in here.
Yeah.
So whenever we go away, there's got to be enough space for camera gear just in case.
Yeah.
So,
And just slowly but surely, like push the kids' stuff out. Just right, you
that's
don't
right,
need
yeah.
it.
They can sleep in the roof.
Yeah,
Cameras need to stay warm in the van.
I can get an extra tripod in there. You don't need to bring your.
Oh, we don't need that box of cereal.
No. What else was
It's
there?
handy, for just planning trips, and then rather than me just going away, say in the car,
Yeah. Oh, it's
can say,
100%.
let's go away for a weekend or whatever, and still have a shot in mind, but maybe keep that to myself when we go away.
Go for it. Yeah.
But it's the light painting side of things I'm getting into now, so I like painting the foreground and whatnot, as long as you don't overexpose it with. But because I used to shoot a lot of kind of Milky Way stuff, just silhouettes.
Yep.
So now I like to try and
Do a bit
just
of
kind
light
of do detail in the
Yeah.
foreground without going too much, or I can
Yeah, there's a really good photographer in Australia, Nightscaper. I don't know if you've seen his stuff.
I was going to say that's
Yeah,
the guy.
he's a really good light painter.
Oh, it's incredible.
Yeah.
Some amazing kind of locations he gets to as well. So,
And I mean, his Milky Way is better than Scotland's Milky Way. He's got like
incredible. There's another one I've just been watching recently, John Rutter. If you get a chance to see him, he's Australian, and he does these incredible panoramic shoots. It might take 4 hours to capture like kind of 3 or 4 rows and whatnot, and he's using a tracker to do it. It's incredible. He makes the images at maybe 4 minutes in exposure.
Yeah, like amateur. Yeah, there's a lot of work.
And I don't think I'd ever have a night when you get like 5 hours worth of clear skies as well, to have the patience to just sit and do one image.
They've got the joys of Australian weather that's probably a bit more reliable than us. We're just battered by the Atlantic very much, especially you in the West Coast.
You could probably say we've got a week's worth of clear skies this week, so I'll go and do Panorama one night, time lapse the other.
Yeah. I think it's more east winds this week, so you'll be all right this week. But there's nothing in the sky just now to photograph.
I mean, unless there's a faint bit of aurora at this time of year, but I don't think.
Yeah, I think it's supposed to be really strong tonight, but I don't really bother. It's not going to be spectacular. Noctiluls and clouds could be good in the next few months.
Well, I've not really tried that, so it's something I might dabble in, because there's a few vantage points I think that might work for a kind of shooting north kind of setup. Be interested to see it. It looks nice. I've seen your stuff and Alan Wallace. I think it looks amazing. Not to actually see it.
Yeah, to see it is. It's like, I know people, because you hear all the time, people just say, "Oh, it's just clouds." But until you see it, it's like a ghostly strand. It's weird. It's definitely worth photographing, because it is just a weird sight. Yeah. Is there any like memories that stick out? What's your?
Well, suppose the ones that kind of, it's more like a moonshot, for example. You've got it in mind, and then it doesn't work out because of the weather. So there's one I tried in Glasgow for 2 or 3 years, and it only happens about twice a year, where if I'm down by George Square in the city centre, I want to look right up St Vincent Street and have the moon kind of just kind of nestling on the top of the street.
I've seen that one. Yeah,
it was cloudy for 2 or 3 years. Every occasion it was going to happen. And then on the 6th attempt, the very first time I tried it, I got it, but the moon was too high. So kind of learned for that. Well, the angle that I need, the moon needs to be a lot lower. So I kind of worked it better on the app by this point, and headed up. Well, opened the curtains that morning, about 2 a.m. Oh, it's nice and clear. So we up to Glasgow, but got there at 3 o'clock, and then only had about 15 minutes before my app's telling me I'll see the moon. So that 15 minutes, I'll set up with 2 cameras. One, there was a 300 shooting an upright shot to get more of the street and then the moon at the top, and then the other camera was going to shoot a time lapse with a longer lens. But with the longer lens, it still needed a heavy crop. But when it appeared about 12 minutes or 13 minutes past 3. Oh, I was like jumping up and down, thinking, oh, great. Then
can
this
imagine.
police pulls up, thinking I was kind of mad with it.
Yeah.
You all right, son? I said, oh, look, the moon's.
Just take a picture of it, yeah.
With his mobile phone, try to take a picture, but it wasn't quite as clear as
No,
camera.
phones don't do moons
Oh,
justice.
That was nice because they gave that a big kind of like full page in the paper about it.
Yeah, I think that's how I found your work when I saw that online. And it's like,
Aye.
whoa, that's a good image. And I think that's how I found your work.
It's nice when you come up with just something unusual.
Yeah, it's just unique. Yeah, not many people have done that.
Is it the Manhattan sunrise or sunset shots?
I was just thinking that.
And that was what gave me the idea.
Yeah, Manhattan. I think it's this month they're doing something.
Aye, that's right. And it was that similar thing that I thought, right, I'm going to try this. I tried it with the sun.
Yeah.
So then I had a better idea how low I need the moon to be.
Yeah.
To then try and capture it. So the sun, you've maybe got 3 or 4 days. And then 3 or 4 days later in the year. So there's about a week's worth of attempts with the sun.
Right.
But for the moon, you only get twice a year.
Yeah, and it's hard, like, middle, early in the morning. I've had like police as well, rock up to you going, "What are you doing, son?" And you're like, "I'm just photographing." Because you do.
I was doing a shoot for somebody with some products with the Milky Way kind of passing overhead. So I set this all up like a time lapse video, and it had lights on it.
Yeah.
And then out of nowhere, they're just keeping an eye on it for the 3 or 4 hours shooting the time lapse, and then all of a sudden, like you said, headlights are coming away from miles, and I thought, "Oh, who's this?"
Yeah.
And we pulled in right alongside me, and it was a warden for the forest park kind of area I was shooting it, and I think they thought, digging or looking for badgers, all these lights on the
stuff like that.
Try to explain the cameras here for a time lapse, so then they were fine. But of course, at that point, as soon as they turn up and turned a car, the floodlights are shining everywhere. So I had to.
I was going to say, them being there has ruined your shooting.
I had to go and do it again. So,
oh God, jeez,
that was a bit frustrating because it was kind of about 2 hours in when it happened.
Yeah.
So you've only got, because I tend to shoot roughly, if I'm doing a time lapse, depending on your lens, what exposure you're setting, and then allow maybe 5 or 10 seconds longer than that for the image to be recorded on the card, for the device to move and then settle before the next exposure. So that's kind of the way I would shoot it. So that was a bit annoying at the time. And then things like star trails and stuff, I love doing them. And you just hope nobody turns up or not too many aircraft.
It's you just have to get to somewhere non-populated.
Aye, the moon shot was a nice one that to remember as well. Just it was more for the wee girl Etta. She was a gymnast. She appeared in the cartwheel kind of things that we did for
yeah, it was amazing. It was really, really good.
And that kind of it was kind of nice memory because it was nice for her to go back to school. I think she was 8-year-old. So in the summer holidays, it was 2 a.m. I would shoot. Luckily, it was in the summer holidays, or it wouldn't happen. Because
that's good that she did that. Yeah.
And then we got the shoot, and then I was able to provide her with all the cuttings for the newspapers that used it. So when she went back to school, her mum was saying she was able to say, "So what did you do in the summer?" I says, "Oh well, I did this." And,
that's amazing. Yeah, it's
so it's nice when it appears in the kind of print media. But I do like big prints as well. And it's nice seeing stuff on a smartphone. Big prints is nice.
I mean, obviously with your job, your kind of photography stuff. I mean, did you not like photograph Donald Trump just a few days ago or something like that?
Aye, you get a kind of call last minute, head down to Tunbury and stuff like that. So, I mean, to be honest, my job's a hobby. I've been doing it for the papers that I worked for about 20 odd years.
That's good. It's, you can make a job doing something you love.
It was like completely.
I see sometimes at football games and stuff. I go to
we get games as well. It's nice when it's dry. It's not so nice when it's pouring with rain.
I go to most of the Scotland games and I see you're there. I'm like, where are you?
It's good. You want to get involved in the game as well and kind of cheer them on. And of course, if you stand up and cheer, you're missing maybe a good celebration picture.
Yeah, you have to be professional.
Jumping and get a couple with the players. But it's good. And to me, my job's a hobby.
Perfect. Anything in the future that you're planning to capture?
I would like to get in, especially Astro-wise, I'd love to get a star tracker. it's something I've not really looked at. I've got just a very small tracker just now, but I'd like to get something a bit more substantial that can take the weight of a slightly heavier lens or something.
Yeah.
Maybe even deep sky stuff. I'm not sure
Yeah.
about giving that a go, because well impressed with some folks' images out there that you
Yeah.
see. But
Yeah.
I've already got a plan. I've never seen a solar eclipse properly, so I've got a plan already
Set on
set.
my list as well. Yeah.
2026, I think.
Is that like our next one?
I think for Europe anyway, you'll see it roughly from almost San Sebastian right across Madrid down to Barcelona.
Oh, is it?
So in the UK, you would, like for example, Stirling or Perth, you'd maybe get 80% coverage. In August 2026. I can't remember the specific date.
I knew there was one yet, like in a few years, but
2026, and also one in 2027, apparently in Spain again. So the plan is to maybe go on holiday.
Just to
doing maybe a
tell the family, oh, we're just going on this day. I've just chosen.
Take the family up a hill, stand here. Dad's going to go back down the hill. And my idea is just for the solar to happen, and then just after it happens, you get a shaft of light coming from behind with the sun, and it light them up. So that's what I'm hoping to do.
Wow, yeah, I've seen it. I think Alan Walsh did a video when he went down to Chile, and some of the photos he got the silhouette.
Looks incredible skies down there.
They look phenomenal. But yeah, if you got a picture of a solar eclipse with the
a nice one for the wall somewhere.
that would be a pretty good memory.
We've got a good chance of getting that. Both it's August 2026 and August 27, I think it is. And in Spain, if you were able to get to Spain, you've got a better chance of clear skies than you would have here. So
I might plan that. Yeah, 2026. Plenty of time to plan that.
Yeah, and then I'm kind of doing an ongoing project with, up in Ascent with a mountain in particular. So I've got a few ideas about going up there. But if you ever want to catch up in Glencoe or kind of or whatever, kind of gives a shout.
I try and message you every now and then. Right, I'm in the West Coast this week.
That's it. And it just so happens it could be free, or it could be.
I'd love to look at Ascent, because the dark skies up there. There's nothing up there. It's just
incredible.
Yeah, I think the darkest skies I've seen was Galloway was good, but I think Cairngorms is pretty hard to beat. But
I was going to say that would be great. No light
pollution. And Ascent, would probably be just better. And we're quite fortunate in Scotland to have that much dark skies. When you look at light pollution maps of Europe,
it's just the weather.
We just don't have to. If we've not got a westerly, we should be fine. We just need a northerly.
What's it? Another thing I'd really like to concentrate on is obviously Northern Lights. I've not gone out and chased it so much. I've just happened to be maybe doing a night shoot when it's happened. I like to kind of, especially with the camper, just kind of say, right, let's go, kind of, and just kind of take a chance and see.
We're coming to solar maximum now, so
we are. 2 years or something, the maximum.
Yeah, 2026. So we've got solar eclipse and solar maximum 2026. Busy year, but that'll be amazing. Because the past few months there's been huge Northern Light shows. Incredible. So if it's anything like that regularly.
The one that happened, it would be, I don't know, about 8 weeks ago. The really, really powerful one.
Yeah.
My phone had packed in that weekend.
Oh God.
So I had no alerts until my wife said, say on a Sunday night or something in the house, and it just started doing all these incredible. I thought, oh no, what have I missed?
There was one. What was it? I think a few weeks ago it was very cloudy, but it was really strong. Then the one in March, that was the picture of this big background. And the whole of Scotland was clear, so I think everyone and their dog was getting pictures of this thing.
Apart from me in my house, because my phone was working. I never got an alert.
Oh God, I can imagine.
Oh, I know. So
but I'm sure we'll get more of it.
Aye, fingers crossed.
But no, thank you very much. It's been great to chat.
Very welcome. Lovely
good to finally catch up with you, and I'll hopefully meet you for a shoot one day.
Aye, definitely. That'll be cool.
Yeah.